There are some new updates surrounding Matt Reeves The Batman 2, which includes the title of the film, the release date, and a brief description on what the filmmaker has described his set of projects on the Caped Crusader as. And this news was shared amongst the big DCU film slate by Gunn and Peter Safran that I'm going to be discussing and providing my thoughts towards in this video. Before I get into it though, if you want to keep up to date on any of my future content surrounding the DCU, Matt Reeves The Batman universe, and other upcoming DC projects, then don't forget to support this upload by giving it a like rating, subscribing to the channel, and turning on your notifications. But without further ado, let's dive into the news surrounding The Batman 2 and the revealed slate for the DCU's Chapter 1. So we knew that Robert Pattinson's Batman was returning in a sequel which is currently halfway through its writing stages, and with the big DCU reveal yesterday, they confirmed multiple factors for the second Batman film. One of them was one that was already suspected, and that is that Matt Reeves' Batman universe would take place outside of the main DCU as an Elseworlds project, with that of Todd Phillips' Joker sequel, Joker Folie à Deux, and a Black Superman movie produced by J.J. Abrams and written by Ta-Nehisi Coates. But the other factors that were confirmed involved the title of the film and the new release date, which goes in line with my earlier predictions that the Batman sequel would be releasing in 2025. Matt Reeves' sequel's official title is The Batman Part 2, and it will open in theatres on October 3rd, 2025. There wasn't a plot synopsis for the film, but based on previous interviews and details released, The Batman Part 2 will continue to focus on Batman's psychology, even with many Rogues Gallery's members involved. It will also include a conflict between Catwoman and the Dark Knight, and it will further show Colin Farrell's Penguin as the kingpin of Gotham's underworld, following his HBO spin-off series which is currently in production. Gunn and Peter Safran confirmed the Batman Part 2 release date during a press event on the Warner Bros. Lot on Monday, and said that the film will remain as a standalone property and fall under that newly branded DC Elseworlds category. So Robert Pattinson and Matt Reeves will continue to explore their world of Batman in the DC Elseworlds sidebar, while DC Studios head Gunn and Peter Safran will have a new Batman in their DC universe, which I'll go into a bit more very soon. We also heard regarding the Batman world earlier this month that Reeves was going to be having a meeting with James Gunn to ensure that his Batverse and the larger DC universe would be able to support each other and not crash together in terms of storytelling. And it looks like that meeting has already happened. James Gunn said in an interview shared on Collider yesterday, Matt is working on the sequel, which he thinks of as a Batman crime saga, which also includes the Penguin series, and it is its own thing. He's hard at work on that. He came in and pitched us some amazing, really cool stuff the other day, so our plan is for that to continue. Matt Reeves himself tweeted on the crime saga mention, showing his excitement, and he also tweeted those 3 bat symbol emojis that he's been tweeting over the award season as the Batman continues to pick up nominations. So is he referencing a trilogy of Bat movies in an epic crime saga, or is it a reference to maybe more films that he's planning for this Batman world? However many films we do get, I think this is only great news, and the fact that Reeves sees this as an epic crime saga and has already shared his extended plans with DC suggests to me that the roadmap for this version of Gotham has been thought out really well. Of course, the spin-offs are going to be happening too, so it's not just the main movies to look forward to with Matt Reeves' projects at DC. But overall, I couldn't be more happy that we've got a title for the film which kind of resembles the Godfather trilogy, a release date, and a description of Reeves' Batman universe being an epic crime saga, because it just shows that the ambition for this separated Batman world is through the roof. I didn't expect to hear any news on the Batman 2 yesterday, but alongside what we did get, I'm sure we'll be getting much more in the years ahead too, and hopefully the Penguin spin-off series can lead into that Batman sequel in a great way. Alongside the updates on Matt Reeves' The Batman world, we also got the big DCU film slate, which confirmed 10 upcoming projects from James Gunn and Peter Safran's movie and TV universe. It's going to be a supposedly cohesive 8 to 10 year plan that involves Gunn, Safran, and their team of writers, Drew Goddard, Jeremy Slater, Christina Hobson, Crystal Henry, and comics writer Tom King. The slate of DC films and TV has been officially titled as Chapter 1 Gods and Monsters, and the reveal came with James Gunn's video on social media addressing the future of the DC universe. Before I get into the slate, he did clarify some details on the current slate of DC films in 2023, as we're expecting to see projects like Shazam 2, The Flash, Blue Beetle, and finally Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. Gunn said that these films would essentially lead the DCEU into the new DC universe, with the Flash film being the hard reset on the whole thing. He also said that Gal Gadot, Jason Momoa, Ezra Miller, and Zachary Levi may have the opportunity to continue playing their respective heroes, so there's still no certain clarification surrounding the casting of particular characters, and it only adds to the confusion surrounding the previous announcement that Henry Cavill will not return as Superman. But anyway, Gunn said that after the release of Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, the DC universe will kick into its first official chapter, and that will begin with 2 TV projects that are considered to be preludes to the first big screen movies. These include the animated series Creature Commandos and the spin-off show Waller, based on Viola Davis's Amanda Waller from the Suicide Squad. So after these upcoming films and shows, the big slate of projects from the DCU Chapter 1 Gods and Monsters will commence, and the following revealed films and TV series are just one part of that first chapter and not the whole slate. Starting with the movie side of things, we got 5 announced projects, and the one that marks the true beginning of the DCU is none other than a new Superman movie. Of course, Gunn has been prioritising Superman, and he's currently writing the script for the announced film, which is now titled as Superman Legacy. It also has an official release date of July the 11th, 2025, meaning that it'll release in the same year as Matt Reeves' The Batman Part 2. Gunn said that it will focus on Superman balancing his Kryptonian heritage with his human upbringing, which to be honest reminds me of Man of Steel just from that brief description. Some of you know that I really liked Man of Steel, and it was gutting to me that Henry Cavill didn't get another swing at playing the role in a new Superman movie, but at the same time, I understand that a role isn't tied down to one particular actor. By the looks of it, Gunn is focusing on building this universe with a new actor playing the role. So to me, it's exciting that we finally get to see a new Superman movie, and I just hope that along with whoever ends up directing this project, that James Gunn can forge a great script for the movie we eventually get. I expect that it's going to be a brighter film and more in line with Superman of the past, and while we can debate on what tone it will be, I don't care whether it's brighter or darker with the story's tone. I just hope that it has a good script, it's a quality made film with a great director and cast. As of yet, we haven't heard anything about the villain or the threat to Superman in that film, but I guess that it would be something different or unexpected. Still, it's probably one of the projects I'm most excited about, and like the rest of the announced DCU films and shows, I just hope we get to see different directorial voices and unique filmmaking with each of them. Alongside Superman Legacy, there was also the announcement that there would be a film based on Tom King's 2022 comic run of Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, and that this film will feature a more hardcore Kara Zor-El, who we know as Superman's cousin. While Superman is raised on Earth, Kara spends 14 years of her life on a violent rock of Krypton, and it looks like we're going to be getting an exciting version of that story, which James Gunn describes as a science fiction epic. So with both Superman and Supergirl getting new movies, the question now turns to, well, what about the DCU Batman? Well, after already discussing that Matt Reeves' Batman-verse will be completely separate, you'd think that the DCU Batman would be introduced in a very different way and focused on a different take of the character. And it seems like Gunn and Safran are doing just that. They announced that a film titled The Brave and the Bold would be coming, which is based on comic writer Grant Morrison's run, introducing another Bruce Wayne and his son Damian Wayne as Robin, who Bruce had no idea existed for nearly 10 years of his life. Gunn said that it will be a very strange father and son story. With Superman Legacy, this is probably my most anticipated DCU film, and what I like about it is that the Batman in this new DCU is going to be very different from the one we've seen in Reeves' Batman. I think this is the perfect way to do it because focusing on the Bat family in the DCU allows for a very distinct take and one that is about the collective rather than Batman himself. And that's what I love so much about Matt Reeves' films, because they are successfully tackling Batman as a solo character and how the world and villains around him impact his psychology. So now that we get to view Batman through the Bat family lens in James Gunn's DCU, it presents the opportunity for a successful, distinct take on the character all at the same time. I think it also partially indicates that we might not get the Bat family in Matt Reeves' films, which, to be honest, I know people wanted to see, but I personally think that focusing on Batman there is much more effective for that epic crime saga approach. But regardless, if you want Robin, more of the Bat family, and other characters too, the DCU Batman is going to exist as well. Alongside The Brave and the Bold though, there are two other feature films that were announced, and these are ones that I'm cautiously optimistic for. One is The Authority, which will bring in characters from Wildstorm, a comics imprint folded into DC Comics in 1999. It's apparently a passion project of James Gunn, and the film will revolve around a team of heroes who think the world is broken and they want to fix it by any means necessary. I've never read it, but it does sound and look exciting. Plus, if it's another passion project from Gunn, then hopefully it will be a great film when it eventually releases. And the last DCU film that was announced was a Swamp Thing movie, which Gunn and Safran describe as a very dark horror story surrounding the origins of Swamp Thing. Something to note is that in the last few hours, James Mangold, the director of Logan, has posted a panel of Swamp Thing, and that does get me excited, because if someone like Mangold does direct the film, then I will be completely on board. It might just be him celebrating the fact that we're getting a Swamp Thing movie, but I can only hope that a director like him is on board to direct. So overall, what do I think about the announced movies on this DCU slate? Well, I honestly don't mind what projects are announced, whether they're ones we wanted or wackier ones, but what I care about the most is who directs and makes these films. Gunn made it a big point in his reveal video, and it was something that made me have more trust in what he's going to do with this slate. He said in the video that while this whole universe is connected across film, TV, and video games, that they're allowing the individual voices and filmmakers to really make what they want to within that structure. And that does excite me because, to be honest, I was worried that this new DC universe would basically be the MCU with DC Comics, in that most of the films feel very similar in the sense of what we get from the filmmaking. That's been my main issue with a lot of the recent MCU stuff when it comes to the writing and the filmmaking itself. But if Gunn is really focusing on directors, giving them the chance to make their unique films and use their forms of filmmaking techniques, then that is a good thing to hear. Also, if we're going to get directors like James Mangold involved as well, then hell, I'm up to seeing what they produce. So yes, from the film side of this slate, I'm cautiously optimistic to see what they produce, and hopefully we get a good start to the new DCU. There are also some TV show announcements involved, and like with the film side of things, we got 5 confirmed series. First is Creature Commandos, an animated series written by Gunn, which is currently in production. There is no voice cast attached yet, but Gunn did make a point to say that they will cast actors who can voice the characters and play live-action portrayals when they cross over to different projects. Another TV series is Waller, which is positioned as a spin-off to James Gunn's HBO Max series Peacemaker, in which Amanda Waller is now the main character. There's no release date, but Gunn did confirm that the show will be led by Crystal Henry from Watchmen and Jeremy Carver, the creator of Doom Patrol. The third show announced was what I expected to be a theatrical film, and that is a Green Lantern show starring Finn Wittrock. The show is titled Lanterns and is about two members of the Green Lantern Corps in Hal Jordan and John Stewart. Both Safran and Gunn said that the show is one of their most important projects, calling it very much in the vein of True Detective, as Jordan and Stewart investigate a mystery that ties into the DCU's main story. Then there's the fourth series on Booster Gold, which will feature an obscure character from DC Comics about a loser from the future who uses basic future technology to come back to today and pretend to be a superhero. This to me sounds interesting and very James Gunn in a weird way, so hopefully it'll be another wacky project from the filmmaker that gets more people talking the closer we get to it releasing. And the final show announced for the new DCU slate is a Wonder Woman spin-off entitled Paradise Lost. It's currently unclear whether this is connected to Patty Jenkins and Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman, but we did get a brief description on what this series would be focusing on. Gunn and Safran are calling this a Game of Thrones inspired series set on Themyscira, dealing with the origins of the land and the political power players on the island. Maybe we will see Gal Gadot and Robin Wright return for this show, and maybe they will be linked into the future DCU, but right now it's quite unclear surrounding how Wonder Woman will be integrated. So as a whole, the TV shows that were announced do sound quite interesting, and I think the ones that I'm personally looking forward to the most is probably Booster Gold and Green Lanterns. I guess we'll have to wait until we get more details on them, which I'm sure Gunn will share, alongside the additional projects that are yet to be revealed for Chapter 1. Like I said before, he did say that this was just the start of the first chapter, so it looks like we're going to be getting much more than we expected, including on that of the video game side of things too. While I'm personally more interested in the Elseworlds projects, like with the Batman 2 and the Joker sequel, when we do eventually see the first projects from the DCU in 2025, I hope that it will kick off this universe in a great way and get us excited to see the long-form storytelling that James Gunn and Safran will introduce. We'll have to see, but it definitely sounds like a positive plan for the future, with much more to be revealed on the way. But that was my video discussing the first reveals from the DCU slate and the updates on the Batman sequel. Overall, I'm fascinated to see how Matt Reeves will turn his Batman universe into an epic crime saga, and the differences that come between both his take on Batman and the Bat family we see in the DCU. Again, I am more excited for the Elseworlds projects, being the separated films and series outside of the main DCU, but I am going to give James Gunn a chance because, like I mentioned, the characters aren't tied down to one interpretation. It's going to be interesting to see which filmmakers and actors do sign on for these new projects in the DCU, and if Gunn can attach some quality individuals, then it will only raise my anticipation for the whole thing going forwards. But let me know down below in the comment section what you think towards the Batman sequel updates, the first reveals on the DCU slate, and whether you're generally excited for the lineup that DC have planned over the next few years. For much more videos and news on DC and its future announcements, then subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications. Also, if you enjoyed this video, remember to leave a like rating and follow me on social media via the links in the description. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I've been Cortex, and as always, make some noise.